Christmas Eve, family gathered as it happens in most homes, everyone eating happily, chatting, and even making plans for the future. However, for a family in Covina, Los Angeles that day, 12/24/2008, would be the last. A man of two faces, a seemingly ordinary human being, Bruce Pardo was a perfect husband. Yet, in a short time, his wife would discover secrets that would put an end not only to their marriage but also to her life and that of 8 others. Today, we will talk about the Bruce Pardo case. The 9 people were killed by gunshots and an arson attack inside the house where the Christmas party was being held. The murderer, Bruce Jeffrey Pardo, a 45-year-old electrical engineer, entered the house dressed as Santa Claus. He also took his own life with a gunshot to the head after committing the crimes. Authorities claimed that marital problems might have been a possible motivation for the violence, as Bruce and his ex-wife Sylvia's divorce had been finalized on December 18th, a week before the massacre. To those who superficially knew Bruce, he didn't seem to fit the profile of a serial killer. In fact, before the day he committed one of the greatest atrocities in California's history, anyone could have considered him a normal, quiet guy. Throughout his life, he worked as an engineer in a laboratory serving NASA and had a stable relationship with Sylvia Ortega, the mother of 3 children. On that Christmas Eve, adults were engaged in a noisy poker game, children were playing with their gifts, and the party was in full swing. But amidst the holiday celebration, the doorbell rang, and what happened next was incredibly horrifying. On December 24th, 7 days after being legally required to pay a monthly alimony of $785 to his now ex-wife, Bruce meticulously wrapped his flamethrower as if it were a gift, ready to celebrate a real tragedy, and indeed he was. He also brought along 4 semi-automatic 9mm guns he had purchased in recent months and donned his Santa Claus suit. The illustrious and fantastical figure that Katrina Yusuf-Polsky, the daughter of one of Sylvia's sisters, saw through the window when the clock struck 11:30 p.m. seemed like something out of a movie, so perfect. The innocent girl thought it was Santa Claus coming to bring gifts for everyone. Bruce, disguised, stood at the door with a mysterious bag, but everything seemed positive. After all, it was the Christmas season. When the girl opened the door, Bruce shot the 8-year-old girl in the face. He then rapidly shot the others at the party. The police believe Bruce remained stationary while executing the victims, using the other firearms. After the shots, Bruce opened the package, which contained the homemade flamethrower he had prepared to gift Sylvia's family, and used it to spread gasoline throughout the house and set it on fire. 9 people died from the shots, or the ensuing fire, and 3 others were severely injured. The 8-year-old girl who was shot in the face and sustained serious but non-lethal injuries, a 16-year-old girl shot in the back, and a 20-year-old girl who fractured her pelvis while jumping from the second-floor window to escape. Hearing gunfire and victims' desperate screams, a neighbor called the police, alerting authorities about what was happening at the Ortega residence. As the police headed to the location, Bruce set fire to the entire house. The Christmas decorations and the fuel sprayed by Pardo before the fire made it almost uncontrollable and completely destroyed the entire house. Initially, Bruce was determined to flee after the crime and start a new life in another country. However, he ended up paying the same price as his victims. While spraying fuel inside the house, some spark caught his costume, and it started burning him. So, after the attack, he removed the costume and drove his rented car to his brother's house in Sylmar, about 31 miles away from where he committed the crime. Upon reaching his brother's residence, Bruce noticed his body was burned and decided to change his escape plans. He took his own life with a gunshot to the head. His brother wasn't home at the time, and upon arriving, had to break down the door to enter. Presumably, Bruce changed his plans to escape and decided to take his own life when he realized he was burned because he knew he couldn't go to the hospital to treat the wounds. He would be arrested there. Moreover, news of a massacre in the city had already gained immense attention, and he would be considered the prime suspect in that horrendous crime. With his burned body, he couldn't escape, as the pain was unbearable. So, His alternative to escape the suffering from burns and also to avoid facing a jury trial that would likely condemn him to life imprisonment was death. While examining Bruce's body, the police found $17,000 wrapped in plastic film between his legs, and his rented car had been parked and protected along with what remained of his Santa Claus suit. The suit, when removed, would trigger a device that would ignite a flame, detonating the car with explosives. The car was left a block away from his brother's house. The car was destroyed by the bomb squad. Also recovered from the crime scene were 4 13-round pistols, all fired, and at least 200 rounds of ammunition. At Bruce's house, the police found 5 empty boxes of semi-automatic pistols, 2 shotguns, and a gasoline storage tank. In total, there were 9 fatal victims, all relatives of his ex-wife, leading the investigating officers to believe that Bruce's intention was to eliminate Sylvia's relatives, making the entire family suffer the loss of loved ones. The 9 fatal victims were Sylvia Ortega Pardo, 43 years old, ex-wife of Bruce Pardo; Alicia Sotomayor Ortega, 70 years old, Sylvia's mother; Joseph Ortega, 80 years old, Sylvia's father; Charles Ortega, 49 years old, Sylvia's brother; Sherry Lynn Ortega, 45, wife of Charles; James Ortega, 51, Sylvia's brother; Teresa Ortega, 52 years old, wife of James; Alicia Ortega Ortiz, 46 years old, sister of Sylvia and Michael Andre Ortiz; 17 years old, nephew of Sylvia, Alicia's son. Bruce and Sylvia were married for only a year, and the exact reason for the divorce is unknown, since Sylvia never claimed to have suffered any type of violence from him. Furthermore, he had no other known criminal behavior throughout his life. Speculation suggests that the divorce may have been motivated by Bruce having a child from a previous relationship and hiding it from Sylvia. This child had suffered a serious accident in a swimming pool years earlier, and Bruce abandoned him when he realized the child had a permanent disability and would depend on his care. When Sylvia found out about this, she was deeply upset with Bruce's behavior, possibly leading to the divorce. As part of the divorce settlement, Bruce gave Sylvia about $10,000, according to court documents detailing the property division. He certainly waived the money, already thinking that Sylvia wouldn't have time to spend it. In the legal dispute, he also lost a dog he had bought and a high-value engagement ring. Bruce claimed in court that Sylvia lived with her parents, therefore not paying rent, drove a luxurious car, traveled to gamble in Las Vegas, dined in fancy restaurants, had massage sessions and golf lessons, so she didn't need those assets. Nevertheless, he still lost the case, and things ended up in her favor. Investigators believe that the loss of practically everything, marriage, money, family, and even his job as an engineer, which he had recently lost, was a tremendous emotional shock for Bruce, leading him to commit the horrific crime. However, Bruce already had a questionable personality before all this. Before marrying Sylvia in 2006, he had jilted a girlfriend at the altar after literally emptying her bank account. Bruce had been planning the crime against Sylvia's family for a long time. Investigators found evidence suggesting that the plans had begun as early as September, 3 months prior. He had fabricated the flamethrower, bought weapons and ammunition, had a Santa suit custom made, rented a car, and meticulously planned his escape, stocking the vehicle with supplies like food and drink, along with various maps indicating his intent to flee to Mexico. In 2016, despite all the grief for her loved ones, Leticia, one of the surviving victims and Sylvia's sister, gave a statement. "I cannot do anything to change what happened. I can only focus on the future. I won't allow him to continue consuming us with his wickedness. You don't want that anger living inside you day by day and growing, just as it happened with this monster." Despite all the terror experienced on that Christmas Eve, Leticia and the other family members still want to live and bring forth that Christmas spirit every year. Even though there is an immense void in the hearts of all survivors due to the absence of those who are gone, the family still wishes to celebrate the occasion among those who remain, not allowing Bruce to also kill the family's Christmas forever for the coming generations. Leave your opinion on this case in the comments. Subscribe to the channel to discover more stories like this, and don't forget to leave a like. See you in the next video.